We started the project back in 2012, and at that time it was a joint project with the Native Plant Society of Texas, Tyler chapter.
We began helping here, assisting the staff in the early 2023. And we just thought, because our Master Naturalist chapter, East Texas chapter, meets here, that this would be a great place to just devote some time and help it get back in shape and bring it back so the public could enjoy it. We're the group that comes out here usually once or twice a month, and we just lop limbs, we pick up limbs, we move logs, anything that's in the trail that's going to interfere with someone wanting to walk it.
So we have actually 3 different levels of trail systems here. We have a fully ADA accessible paved trail. We also have what's considered to be an ADA wilderness trail. So even though it's just gravel surface, it's at grade and width that's accessible to wheelchairs. And then the remote trails in the back traverse all of the different habitats on the property. We have a little over 80 acres and over 2 miles of trails that TMN has been maintaining. We've never had anybody other than staff that was involved in trail maintenance activities, and we really appreciate the work that they've done with that, because that is one of the things that the public uses almost on a daily basis. We're open from daylight until dusk, 7 days a week. We just started doing that this last calendar year, so this is the greatest amount of public use that we've been able to offer due to the help of the volunteers that we've had through TMN.
Well, in the 2012 version, we wanted to create a landscape using native plants so that visitors to the Tyler Nature Center could see that you can use native plants in a landscape instead of non-native plants. Then we did a redo of the project in 2023, where it's just the East Texas chapter of the Master Naturalists. And the reason we had to do a redo was because of the COVID pandemic and because they were building this new regional headquarters.
But when we actually constructed our new campus beginning in 2019, we had to essentially let the wallscape go because we were in a state of construction for almost 4 years due to COVID. And after that, we were really anxious to have somebody step back in and actually refurbish the wallscape and get it back up to the standards that we have today for school kids and other visitors to come and enjoy.
So we came back in 2023 and we salvaged what was still here from 2012, which there were a lot of plants. But the new focus in the 2023 version was to make it a pollinator garden, to feature native plants that also support native pollinators. We get compliments all the time. There's so many other groups that use this building, and they get to come out and see it, and I think it's an excellent outreach project for the Master Naturalists.
Our job never ends as far as trail maintenance, because you can go walk one time on a trail and it's pretty clear and you don't really do anything physical. You can walk that same trail after a storm or rain event, and you're going to have down trees and limbs. So you always want to periodically walk the trail and get it back in shape.
I guess the biggest challenge was not being able to come in here for 3 years. That was a big challenge. And then getting people that do visit to understand that if they see bees or they see butterflies, that the reason they're here is because we're featuring native plants.
When we first started, it was post-construction. So the area had been closed for several years for major construction. So nothing was done in regards to maintenance to any of the trails. When you leave a trail for 2 or 3 years to go back to the wild, it's a big job just to clear it so people can walk. There's the upland loop over here. It was a nature trail, and it had all of these plants identified. That was totally in disrepair. In fact, we didn't even know where the trail was. And so we had to kind of use some of the posts that were used for ID and figure out, okay, this is how the loop went. Another thing that takes time is the invasive plant removal. When we went to go and try identify these plants that had been identified in the past in this little booklet for the Nature Center, we were having a hard time finding the plants. And I finally realized that one of the reasons we were having a hard time finding these plants is because the privet had just taken over. And so that is a big job, and a continuing job is the removal of invasive privet here.
To me, it is to keep bringing in more of the East Texas regional plants. We have borrowed, I will call them natives from other regions of Texas, just because they do really well and because they're so great for pollinators. For example, the Gregg Smith flower over here, but we're seeing a lot of butterflies on right now. It's not really indigenous to this region of Texas, but I'd like to see more of the East Texas natives introduced or put back here. So we're going to focus on that, finding more of the plants that evolved in East Texas, because then we'll actually be feeding the pollinators that evolved with them. So that's the next goal, and then also to put some signs out here identifying the plants.
I think the bringing back the nature loop with the plants ID'd, there was a booklet for the Nature Center. It contained, I want to say, close to 60 different plants here. And just to ID those plants, that's a good start. And bring that little nature loop back to life where people can enjoy that, students can enjoy that. But right now it's just, mainly we're just kind of bringing back the benches, bringing back the trail entrances, and working on the invasive privet that is so prevalent here.